Who would have thought, guys, in big 2025, Pep Guardiola going at the Emirates and immediately after scoring one goal, just one goal, a very good goal from Erling Haaland running behind the Arsenal defense. Pep Guardiola is telling his defense to sit back, man. He's playing a 5-5-0. There's even a moment in the game he's taking out Erling Haaland and bringing in Nico Gonzalez to do that defensive work, man. I think Mikel Arteta's reaction to that Pep Guardiola's style today was like, do you remember that Spider-Man meme where it is like the reason look alike Spider-Man have met and they're like pointing each other? That was Mikel Arteta's reaction because he did not expect that from Pep, man. Haram ball from Pep Guardiola. Well, you have to do what you have to do to win or either get a draw, man. And either way, Pep Guardiola is the winner of today's games. At the Emirates, managing to scrap a draw, and this is the reason why I think Arsenal fans should be very angry at Mikel Arteta. Because Pep Guardiola today set his team like, if we get the first goal today, let's sit back and defend. And Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, he set his team that, well, we are not here to lose. We don't want to win, but either way, we don't want to lose. That is why he's using the midfield of Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, and Mikel Merino. That is one of the most stiff midfield in the world, man. You cannot get a lot of goals when playing in that midfield. There's no creativity in that midfield. He should have even thrown as in that starting lineup. And if Mikel Arteta thrown as in that starting lineup, I think they could have finished the job in the first half, man. Because immediately after Guardiola got that goal, Man City, they were not playing football, man. Arsenal had most of the ball, but it like in the 30th, 34th minute, Arsenal had not registered a shot on target. That was because of what? They did not have that X factor in that team. They did not have the legs of Bukayo Saka. They did not have the legs of Eberichi Eze, who were all in the bench. Victor Gyökeres always say this about Victor Gyökeres. If Arsenal play against a mid-table teams, the legs of those teams in those relegation zones, Victor Gyökeres is likely to score or having a good game, man. But in these big games, Victor Gyökeres, when he's having defenses who can go band to band with him in terms of strength, because that is the thing that is very good at physicality. If he has defenders who go band to band to him with him in terms of physicality, you will not see Victor Gyökeres having his good game. So I think if Mikel Arteta just approached this game, we are at home. We have to win this one. It is a must-win game for us. Let me throw all my attacking players in this game. Let me throw the legs of Eberichies. Let me throw Bukayo Saka in this game, especially after he saw that Manchester City have gotten their goal. They are not defending. Let me bring these players who can hurt Manchester City. And he brought them when it was too late, man, because that pass from Eberechi Eze to Gabi Martinelli, it was what changed everything. You can argue that Manchester City should have defended better in that one. Nathan Ake, I don't know what he was doing holding a highline. Donnarumma, if you want to come out and commit with the tackle, come out. You are inside your box. The goalkeepers are always protected when they are in that box. And now that today it is Pep Guardiola and Manchester City who have done it, I expect the same media meltdown, man. I expect the same media meltdown from the English media. Because when Mikel Arteta scrapped that 2-2 draw at the Etihad after getting a red card, he was defending for 90 minutes, and it is John Stones who salvaged the point for Manchester City that day because Arsenal were leading the game 2-1. Then they get a red card. Then they sit back and defend. Then in the 96th minute, John Stones is the one who got the goal for Arsenal. And after that game, well, Mikel Arteta was being criticized for sitting back and defending. Now I expect the media to do the same with Pep Guardiola, man. Because getting a goal in the first half and sitting back and defending, that was not classic Pep. I expect that from the king of Haram football, Mikel Arteta, or the likes of Jose Mourinho. But let's talk about the game, and you cannot talk about the game if you not talk about this one guy, Erling Haaland. Pep Guardiola said one thing in his press conference in the beginning of the season. Football in the Premier League is turning to transition football. And if there's a guy who will benefit a lot from this transition football from Manchester City, that guy is Erling Haaland, man. Because if he's behind the defense, he's making those runs behind the defense. Erling Haaland is arguably one of the best strikers in the world, up there with Kylian Mbappe. These two are two of the best strikers in the world, man. In terms of transition, just give them the ball, the back of the defense, they will run to the goal and they will make a very composed finish. And I know it is early in the season, man, but there are two players who are looking very bright, man. And you might be thinking to yourself, maybe this might be the favorites for the Ballon d'Or coming next year. One, Kylian Mbappe, two, Erling Haaland. No, I think Erling Haaland has scored over what? Scored, I think, 5 goals in the Premier League this season for Kylian Mbappe. I think it's the same. He's the top scorer in La Liga. So these that the guys who will benefit a lot from this transition football, man. Because for Xabi Alonso, Kylian Mbappe is having games of his life, and Real Madrid are winning 6-6. And coming back to Manchester City, Erling Haaland may be one of the most important players in this Pep Guardiola system. Because if Pep Guardiola is resulting to getting a goal, then sitting back and hitting teams in transition, hitting teams in counter attack, well, Erling Haaland will be one of the most important players in those systems because, well, he's one of the best strikers in the world. Sending behind the defense, or he finds himself behind the defense, and that is a goal. And for Manchester City, I think they had a pretty decent game, and Pep Guardiola is the one who will be getting out of this game. Very happy because at the Emirates getting a draw against the king of Haram football, Mikel Arteta. Today decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. You played Haram football and you salvage the draw. It is very good, man. And another player I want to talk about at Manchester City, it is Gianluigi Donnarumma. He made a really good save from Eberechi Eze, and the commentators were like, wow, this is what Manchester City bought Donnarumma for. Of course, that is what Manchester City bought Donnarumma for, but those are the saves that you expect a keeper like Gigi Donnarumma to make. There are no worldly saves, man, like that save against Boom when they were playing against Manchester United. That shot from Eberechi is that was one of a direct shot, man. And if Gigi Donnarumma concedes a shot like that, you're starting to ask questions like, is Gigi Donnarumma starting to prove the allegations? Is Gigi Donnarumma starting to prove the allegations that in all those years at PSG he was not playing very good, and it was the reason why PSG exited the Champions League and he's had one good season. He won them the Champions League and he got his big move to Manchester City. Because let's be honest, guys, those are the kind of saves that you expect a keeper like Gigi Donnarumma to save, man. You cannot concede shots like those, man. You cannot concede shots like those. And what the credit I want to give Gigi Donnarumma for it is he's very commanding in that box in set pieces. He is very commanding in set pieces. Arsenal being one of the best team in set pieces, getting several corners and not getting anything out of that corners. I think credit should go to the defense and Gianluigi Donnarumma. Credit should go to those two parts of the games, man. Their defense and their keeper Gigi Donnarumma. Because anything that Declan Rice was throwing into that box, Gigi Donnarumma was just throwing, was just punching the ball to go outside the box. And Jeremy Doku was always there trying to give problems to Arsenal, trying to hit Arsenal on the count. And in terms of Arsenal, Liverpool are now 5 points clear of you guys. Liverpool are now 5 points clear of Arsenal. And there's only two ways to look at this. For me, I'm looking at this like this way. Mikel Arteta is one of the best managers in the world. And if it was not for Mikel Arteta, Arsenal could have not been where they are today. But he is not the guy to get them over the finishing line to give them these trophies. That is how I'm looking at Mikel Arteta. Because Liverpool, we keep saying that Liverpool have not clicked and they're above 5 points above Arsenal, man. They have not clicked. What if they click, man? What if next weekend against they are playing against it is Crystal Palace. What if next week they click against Crystal Palace? How will it look for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta? Because in the Champions League is never guaranteed that you can make it out of the league phase, but immediately gets to knockout games, it gets really dark because there are managers who are really specialized in those knockout games. In the Premier League, it is not looking good for Mikel Arteta. It is not looking good for Mikel Arteta. And his game plan today was like it was a little bit dodgy, man. Because you are playing against a Manchester City team which has Ruben Diaz, who is a giant. They have Gigi Donnarumma, who is a giant of a goalkeeper. Erling Haaland, who is a giant. Rodri, who is a giant. You can even argue the likes of Ake that they are giants. And most of the time, Mikel Arteta was just crossing the ball in the box, spamming, crossing the ball inside the box, spamming and crossing the ball inside the box. You cannot get a goal in that way, man. When you are playing against a team which has giant in the back, but all in all, Mikel Arteta made that substitute. Like in the midweek, Gabriel Martinelli came on a very good pass from Eberechi Eze. And he runs. I didn't know what Donnarumma was doing there. He was making a 50-50 decision. Should I commit to Gabi Martinelli or should I go back to my goal? And a very cheeky chip from Gabi Martinelli. The way Arsenal celebrated, man. It was like they have not looked at the Premier League table. This is like your sixth or seventh season at Arsenal, man. You are already 5 points behind Liverpool and you are celebrating like, well, that goal is one of the most important goals in Arsenal history. That shows the mentality in this team, and this is the reason I'm saying that Mikel Arteta is not that guy that will get Arsenal over the line. They have to get a guy who can get them over the line, man, because at the end of the season, after all the signings that Arsenal have made, if he will not deliver even a single trophy, even one, it will look really bad for Mikel Arteta, man. All in all, don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to leave a sub. See you in the next one, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Have Liverpool just run away with the league? Because Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz, those are the guys you say have not clicked. Mohamed Salah, even if he has a bad game, he usually looks a way to influence the game, man. Let me know your let me know your thoughts in the comment. Will Mikel Arteta see the door at the end of the season if he fails to deliver even after giving as Mosquera, who is another guy, Victor Joker is the number 9, who Arsenal fans have been saying is the guy that they don't have for years, and if they have him, they will win the league. And for Pep Guardiola, is it the new Pep Guardiola that you are seeing, guys? Is this the new Josep Guardiola that you are seeing? Moving from tiki-taka football and transition football, sitting back, we don't need the possession, because at some point Arsenal were having 82% of the possession, but Manchester City are the ones who are ahead. So is this the new Pep Guardiola? We don't need the possession. What we need to do, just guys, it is just sit back, hit teams on counter attacks. We have Jeremy Doku, we have Erling Haaland. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment, guys. Ciao.